So today we'll start with the 16th Sutra. In the previous class, we have done until the 15th Sutra, which spoke about the lower form of Vairagya, which is also called Apara Vairagya. Today we'll see the higher form of Vairagya. Higher form of Vairagya is called as Para Vairagya. The Sutra, the 16th Sutra is Tat Param Purusha Khyāter Gunavai Trishnyam. So what does this mean? With the Para Vairagya, with the mastery of Para Vairagya, the yogi can attain Asampragnata Samadhi. I'll repeat it once again. With the mastery of Para Vairagya, the yogi can attain Asampragnata Samadhi. Okay, so the sutra says Tat Param, so that highest form of knowledge related to Purusha is free from the desires created by the gunas. I'll repeat it once again. Tat Param, that highest Purusha Khyāter, the knowledge of Purusha, Guna Vai Trishnyam, which is freedom from the gunas, influence of gunas. So one can get the highest form of knowledge related to Purusha only when one is free from the desires which are created because of gunas. When one attains the detachment from gunas, then the yogi is able to get the highest knowledge of Purusha. That is called as Para Vairagya, when he does not have any influence of the gunas. This kind of Vairagya is called as Para Vairagya. We have seen that Apara Vairagya is the more grosser level Vairagya, or the lower form of Vairagya, that which is experienced based on the gross objects that we see. But here you see the subtler objects, which are the gunas. So a freedom from the gunas leads to the knowledge of the Purusha. That knowledge of the Purusha can be attained only when there is a complete detachment from gunas. There is no influence of gunas on the person. That is called as Para Vairagya. This is the definition of Para Vairagya. Is that clear to everybody?
Once again, definition, please, ma'am.
What part of it you have not understood?
Para Vairagya definition, ma'am.
The definition of Para Vairagya is that where the knowledge of the Purusha is completely obtained, because there is a freedom from the desire of gunas. So there is no influence of the gunas. That is when the person can attain the knowledge of Purusha. Purusha is pure consciousness, right? When can one get the knowledge of pure consciousness? Only when there is a complete detachment from the gunas. Unless we have a complete detachment from the gunas, we cannot get the true knowledge of Purusha. And that true knowledge is attained only when there is detachment from gunas. That detachment from gunas is called as Para Vairagya.
Okay, ma'am.
Para Vairagya is called as the higher form of Vairagya. So in the third chapter, you see a lot of vibhudis, right? Siddhis. So if a person is able to also get detached from all these siddhis, he is not under the influence of all these things. Even the siddhis don't lure him or tempt him. When he has attained that kind of mastery, that is called as Para Vairagya. He's able to do a lot of kind of mystical things and things which normal people cannot even imagine because of his sadhana. But he's not at all getting influenced with all the siddhis that he has attained. When he is not getting influenced by the siddhis that he has attained, that is a state of detachment. That kind of detachment is called as paravairagya. Did I make myself clear, Madhunika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I saw somebody else raising hand.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what does Tatparam means here?
Tat param. Tat, the word tat is that. That. Param means highest. Parama Purusha means highest Purusha. Okay. Khyati means knowledge. Okay. That highest form of knowledge of what? Of the Purusha. We are all striving for getting that knowledge related to Purusha so that we can establish ourselves in that pure knowledge, right? When do we get that knowledge? Only when we are able to detach ourselves from the gunas, from the influence of gunas. Okay, Tat Param means that highest.
Okay.
Okay. Gunavaitrishnyam means freedom from the gunas. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
If there are no questions, then probably we can move to the next sutra, the 17th one. Should I move to the 17th sutra? Before that, what we'll do is we'll chant the sutra a few times so that you remember what we did with the sutra. Okay, just chant it a few times. I would like Shujat to chant this.
17th Sutra, right, ma'am?
16th, because we just did the explanation. I just did the explanation. It will be a good idea to just chant the sutra a few times so that it registers properly in the head.
Okay. Tatparam Purusha Khyater Gunavaitrishnyam.
Very good. Can I ask Gunjan?
तत्परं पुरुषे ख्याते गुणवे तृष्णम्.
Very good. Can I ask Shravani to chant and also explain the sutra a little bit, very briefly?
Tat param gunavai purusha kyater gunavaitrushyam means with the mastery of paravairagya we can attain asampragnata samadhi, that knowledge, that highest knowledge of purusha by 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 freedom, through freedom, detachment to the gunas, from the gunas.
Okay, freedom from the gunas. Freedom from the influence of gunas. And should I explain this?
Yes, ma'am. So in the 15th Sutra, we have seen Apara Vairagya, and in 16th Sutra, Patanjali Maharshi is telling about Para Vairagya, the second level of Vairagya. So here, even the yogi is getting detached from the subtler aspect, which is guna. So he is even all the gunas, like all the gunas are going away, and that's how he reaches Samprajnata Samadhi in the next sutra.
Asampragnata samadhi. So when the influence of the gunas goes off, the what is the yogi getting? He's able to attain asampragnata samadhi. In the previous sutra, we have seen he was able to attain with apara vairagya, he was able to attain sampragnata samadhi. Okay, with the 15th sutra, we saw that because of apara vairagya, he was able to attain sampragnata samadhi. Okay, where he was able to get a control of all the objects. Okay, the grahana aspect, every object he was able to control. Now, in the higher form of vairagya, which is the paravairagya, he is able to completely get hold of the influence of gunas. He is not under the influence of gunas anymore. Okay, that is called as paravairagya, which leads to asampragnata samadhi. Is this aspect clear? You have to get it right. Otherwise, it will be confusing, because we have the last 10 sutras of this pada, which only talk about sampragnata samadhi, and 1 or 2 sutras which talk about the asampragnata samadhi. Okay, if you get this particular concept now, you will be able to understand those sutras well. Sakshi, yes.
Ma'am, can you please explain another time 2 types of samadhi, sampragyat and asampragyat? I am little bit confused between them.
Yeah. So sampragnat and asampragnat samadhi will be explained in the 17th and 18th sutra. They only talk about sampragnata and asampragnata samadhi. But here we learned about 2 kinds of vairagyas, right? In 15th and 16th sutra, we learned about 2 kinds of vairagyas. What are those 2 kinds of vairagyas? Apara vairagya. Apara vairagya leads to sampragnata samadhi. And para vairagya leads to asampragnata samadhi. Okay, so these are the basis for the next 2 sutras. 15th sutra forms the basis of 17th sutra, which is nothing but the definition of sampragnata samadhi. Now, where did it start? It started on the 15th sutra. 15th sutra said that the apara vairagya is drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikara sanya vairagyam, where the lower form of vairagya, which is the apara vairagya, has been explained. The result of apara vairagya, what is the result of vairagya? Sampragnata samadhi. Okay, sampragnata samadhi. So now in the 17th sutra, we will be learning the definition of what is sampragnata samadhi. You have to make that point very clear. Apara vairagya leads to sampragnata samadhi. Make that point very clear in your notes. Apara vairagya leads to sampragnata samadhi. I think most of you have written this, right? Apara vairagya is the lower form of vairagya, where there is a complete control of the objects that we see, the gross objects. Okay, and para vairagya, which is the higher form of vairagya, there we get a control on the subtler aspects, which are the gunas. Okay, when we gain a control of the subtler aspects, which are the gunas, that is when it leads to asampragnata samadhi. Okay, the definition of asampragnata samadhi is given in sutra number 18. Clear? Clear with this? Yes, yes.
Ma'am, detachment from influence of gunas means, is it same related to gunatita, going beyond gunas?
Gunatita, we can't say, but they still have some level of influence of avidya here. That is a klesha. But when you think of it, Gunatita comes only after he has gained a complete mastery of the gunas. We can say that, but here in this state, they are still lingering in the avidya part. Okay, there is some bit of avidya. That is why they take birth again. We'll come to that part. But you can think of it as Gunatita. which is like going beyond the influence of gunas. Okay, you can imagine it that way. So when there is no influence of gunas, you can call it as gunatita.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. So going to the 17th sutra is the definition of sampragnata samadhi. Okay, sampragnata samadhi. What does the sampragnata samadhi say? This is the benefit of apara vairagya. What is the result of apara vairagya? The result of apara vairagya is nothing but sampragnata samadhi. One attains sampragnata samadhi. In sampragnata samadhi, there are four aspects, which are vitarka, vichara, ananda, and asmita. So these four are the different forms of sampragnata samadhi. Each progresses into the other. Like the first is vitarka. Vitarka anugata samadhi, which is vitarka accompanied samadhi, or the samadhi which is accompanied by vitarka. Okay, and vichara anugata samadhi, the second one. Vichara anugata samadhi is the samadhi which is accompanied by vichara. Then we have ananda anugata samadhi. The third samadhi is Ananda Anugata Samadhi, which is accompanied, Ananda accompanied Samadhi. Then the fourth one is Asmita Anugata Samadhi. So the Samadhi which is accompanied by Asmita. Now I will describe these things in a little more detail so that you get a complete understanding of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so in Sankhya, you remember we had the 25 evolutes, the Purusha, Prakriti, the evolutes of Prakriti, which are Mahat, Ahankara. Then from Ahankara, we saw that there is Sattvic Ahankara, there is Rajas, and also Tamasic Ahankara. Then from Sattvic Ahankara, we have the 10 sense Jnanendriyas and the Karmendriyas, the sense organs and the organs of action, and also Manas. Then from the Tamasic Ahankara, we saw that there are 5 subtle elements which are called as Tanmatras. Right? And from the Tanmatras, we have the gross elements, the Pancha Mahabhutas. We saw all this in Sankhya when I was explaining about the Sankhya, the evolutionary theory. I explained about all these 25 evolutes. Now, when you look at the
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. In which class have you defined all this?
I think the second class, right? I think the first or second class. First class was about the syllabus, and I think I did it in the second or third class, right?
If you calculate syllabus also, it is third class.
Yeah,
I think on fifth.
It was on the third.
I think, ma'am, I didn't attend that class.
Yeah, you have to go through the recording of that.
5th January.
Okay,
Yeah, just go through the recording, you'll be able to understand that. I explained the 25 evolutes of Sankhya. So here, in the Savitarka Samadhi, the yogi develops his attention on a grosser form. Like you see, why I'm using the word grosser form is because this kind of samadhi is the result of which kind of vairagya? Apara vairagya, right? What is apara vairagya? Apara vairagya is nothing but it is the lower form of vairagya, where the disconnect or the disassociation is with the grosser objects, right? So here, in Savitarka Samadhi, the yogi develops his attention or he contemplates on a grosser form. Like you can imagine the yogi contemplating on the Ishtadevata. Ishtadevata is a form, right? Like Lord Krishna or Lord Rama, whoever you believe in as your Ishtadevata. You can contemplate on them. On which aspects of the Ishtadevata? You can contemplate on the form of Ishtadevata. You can contemplate on the complete the word, the meaning that the name of the god, the meaning or the mantra associated with it. You can contemplate on all these aspects. Now, when you're looking at the form of the Ishtadevata, that gross form is called as the contemplation on the grosser aspects, that is Savitarka Samadhi. Okay, Savitarka Samadhi, again, yogi develops his attention on a grosser form. What is that grosser form? He will start contemplating on the aspects such as the features of God. What is the God wearing? What are the other features that are inspiring to him, or he can contemplate upon? These aspects he will be more interested, so he will concentrate on that. Okay, so these gross elements are called as 16 visheshas. You make a note of this. So the gross objects or the gross aspects are called as 16 visheshas. Okay, these 16 visheshas are nothing but the 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, the 5 mahabhutas, and there is also manas. Okay, what do these 16 visheshas mean? These 16 visheshas mean the 16 elements or the evolutes in Sankhya. Which elements? The elements related to 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 mahabhutas, and 1 manas. All these are lower forms of the evolutes, lowest form of the evolutes, I can say. Okay, I'll try to use a jam file and make a picture here. So that you get some understanding of what I'm trying to say. Just give me a second. One second, I'll also start sharing my screen.
Ma'am, do we not need to open that file?
No, you don't have to open the file. I'll be sharing the jam file on the screen. You'll be able to see it. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do I see? Okay. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a blank screen.
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
but it is
So this
black.
is like,
Screen.
yeah, this is just like a the board. Okay, I will make the diagram on this so that you get some idea of what I'm trying to talk. Now you have I'll make this. One second, let me use a marker. So this is Purusha. Okay, and here we have Prakriti. Okay, this is Prakriti. Now, from here, the Prakriti starts manifesting its evolutes, right? So the evolutes of Prakriti. What is the first evolute of Prakriti? What is the first evolute? Mahat. Yes. Buddhi, or it's also Mahat. Right? And the Purusha kind of reflects. Okay, there is a reflection on the Purusha, of the Purusha. On what? The reflection of the Purusha is on what? It is on the Buddhi. The reflection of the Purusha is on the Buddhi. Now, this will be a sattvic reflection. The reflection of Purusha on the Buddhi. This Buddhi is a first aspect in Prakriti on which there is a direct reflection of the Purusha. Oh, sorry. Getting it? The reflection of the Purusha is first on the evolute called Mahat or Buddhi. Isn't it? So it is the most sattvic evolute of Prakriti. It is the most sattvic evolute of Prakriti. So from this Mahat, we have, after the Mahat gets evolved.
Madam, your screen is not visible to us.
Screen is not visible. Just give me a second. Let me just check. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yeah, here. So this is the first evolute of Prakriti. Now, from this, you see there is a link to Asmita. Asmita is the I, right? Asmita is the I-ness. The Asmita that is related to Mahat is again the most sattvic form of Asmita. It does not have the influence of Rajas and Tamas. This is one aspect that you also have to remember. So Buddhi, when you think of Buddhi, there is an influence of Prakriti, right? It is not beyond the scope of Prakriti. It is the first evolute of Prakriti. So when there is the first evolute of Prakriti, which is full of sattvic tendency, that has the Asmita associated with, the I-ness associated with. That I-ness is also very, very sattvic. Okay, remember that this Asmita is also sattvic in nature. Okay, now from the Buddhi, we see the other evolute. What is the other evolute here?
Ahankara.
Ahankar. Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Can you explain Asmita again?
Yes, I'll explain. So when you see, we have the first evolute of Prakriti, which is Buddhi, right? Buddhi. From Buddhi, there is a tendency of the development of Asmita. Asmita is the I. Okay, the I aspect. This I aspect has no influence of Rajas and Tamas. It is purely under the influence of Sattva. Okay, this is purely under the influence of Sattva, because only after Ahankara gets evolved or manifested, then we have the Ahankara being converged into Sattvic Ahankara, Rajasic Ahankara and Tamasic Ahankara. Okay, until the formation of Ahankara, we have Buddhi. One of the evolutes starting from Buddhi is Asmita. So there is a difference between Asmita and Ahankara. if you see that. Okay, asmita, I can say, is a higher form of ahankara, where the asmita has a sattvic tendency only. It does not have the influence of rajas and tamas. So this asmita is very sattvic in nature, meaning it does not have the influence of rajas and tamas. Okay, when the ahankara evolute, forms or manifests, that is when it combines with, so there's another link from the asmita to ahankara also. So both the asmita and the buddhi start to create this ahankara. Now when ahankara forms, you see that ahankara has a tendency to relate with sattva, rajas, one second. So this is, so because of the rajas, it'll tend to tilt towards sattva or tamas. Okay, this is tamas. So in the middle we'll have rajas. Okay, in the middle we'll have rajas. So from, this is sattvic ahankara, and this is tamasic ahankara. Okay, so when the rajas tends towards this, it becomes sattvic ahankara. When the rajas tends towards this, it becomes tamasic ahankara. Getting it? So depending on the movement of rajas, if it is going towards the sattva, the ahankara becomes sattvic ahankara. If rajas is going towards tamas, then it becomes tamasic ahankara. So from sattvic ahankara, we have 10 evolutes along with the mind. So can you tell those 10 evolutes?
Yes, ma'am. 5 tanmatras and 5 mahabhutas.
No, 5. The 10 evolutes are 5 karmendriyas and 5 jnanendriyas.
Mahabhutas.
Yes,
Ma'am,
yes.
from
On tamasic ahankara, yeah, just repeat what you said.
Ma'am, 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 mahabhutas, and 1 manas.
One second. It's starting. Yeah. Now go ahead.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
5
go ahead.
karmendriyas. Go ahead. 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 mahabhutas, and 1 manas, ma'am.
But I was asking only about the sattvic ahankara. What are the evolutes of sattvic ahankara?
Sattvic, ma'am, only manas and 5 karmendriya, 5 gyanendriya. These
Yes.
3 years.
So the sattvic ahankara's evolutes are the 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, and the manas. Okay, these are the evolutes of the sattvic ahankara. From sattvic ahankara, you see the manifestation of these 11 aspects: 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, and manas. Now, what are the evolutes of the tamasic ahankara?
5 tanmatras and 5 mahabhutas.
Yes, first comes the 5 tanmatras. From the tanmatras come the 5 mahabhutas. It doesn't form all together. There are 2 stages in this. From the tamasic ahankara, the first thing to form is the 5 tanmatras. 5 tanmatras are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha. These 5 aspects. These are the 5 tanmatras. From these 5 tanmatras form the 5 mahabhutas. The 5 mahabhutas are Prithvi, the Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Prithvi. these 5 Mahabhutas. You getting it? So from the Tanmatras form the Pancha Mahabhutas. Don't say they all form together. There is an order. Okay, from the Tamasic Ahankara, the first 5 evolutes to manifest are the 5 Tanmatras. And from the 5 Tanmatras form the 5 Mahabhutas. Getting the order? Now,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So the Ahankara aspect, so here is the Sattvic Ahankara, here is the Tamasic Ahankara. Okay, from the Sattvic Ahankara, what forms? The 10 senses plus mind, which is called as Manas. From the Tamasic Ahankara, what forms? The 5 Tanmatras or the subtle elements. Okay. Then from these 5 Tanmatras form 5 gross elements, which are Mahabhutas. Clear? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So you see, at this level where we are looking at the 10 senses plus mind. So these are 11, right? These are 11. And the 5 Mahabhutas. So all put together is how many? 16. Yes or no?
Yes.
10 senses plus mind. This is 11. Yes? And we have 5 here. So 11 plus 5 is 16, right? So these 16 aspects are called as Visheshas. These are called as Visheshas. Now, what are Visheshas? Visheshas are nothing but the gross aspects or the gross elements. Okay, Visheshas are the gross elements. Now, these 16 Visheshas form the basis of Savitarka Samadhi. When one attains complete control on these 16 Visheshas, that leads to Savitarka Samadhi. Okay, so when you look at the 17th Sutra, what does it say? Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita, Rupanugamat, Samprajnataha. Now, in Samprajnata Samadhi, what is the first form of Samadhi? Vitarka Samadhi. Yeah, Vitarka is also called as Sa-Vitarka because it is accompanied by Vitarka. It is called as Sa-Vitarka. Okay, Sa-Vitarka Samadhi. Sa-Vitarka is nothing but that which is accompanied by Vitarka. Vitarka is what? Vitarka is contemplation on the gross form of objects. The gross form of object, the example that I gave you is when you're contemplating on your Ishtadevata. When you're contemplating on your Ishtadevata, about the form of the Ishtadevata, the color that are included in the idol that you're seeing, the feel that it gives you when you visually look at it, and the feeling that you have when you're able to chant the God's name. Okay, these are all gross aspects which are related to Sa-Vitarka. Okay, when these are all related to Vitarka. Remember that. So, Ishtadevata, contemplation on Ishtadevata or Guru or any form that you like. which is grosser, which you are able to see and relate to it. That is called as vitarka. Vitarka. So vitarka accompanied samadhi. The samadhi which is attained when it is accompanied by vitarka is called as sa vitarka samadhi. Is this aspect clear, or do you want me to repeat this once again? Because it's important to understand this. Any doubts here?
Ma'am, I'm getting confused between Vitark and Savitark. Like, then if Savitark is Savitark and Vitark is same?
Yeah, it's the same.
Sorry.
Sa vitark, the word sa is accompany. वितर्क के साथ क्या कंपनी हो रहा है? सवितर्क समाधि. सवितर्क means the samadhi is accompanied by vitarka. Which kind of samadhi is accompanied by vitarka? Savitarka samadhi. Okay, the word sa is accompany. The word sa is accompany. It is, both are the same. With generally when they talk about the samadhis, they will not talk about vitarka samadhi. They will say sa vitarka samadhi, because this samadhi is accompanied by an aspect called vitarka. Vitarka of what? The 16 visheshas. Vitarka of the 16 visheshas. Okay, so
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
yeah. Now, if this is clear, I would like to go to the next samadhi, which is vichara. Vitarka is over. Now, this next samadhi is vichara. Vichara, when the samadhi is accompanied by vichara, it is called as sa vichara samadhi. Sa vichara samadhi. Okay. Now, sa vichara samadhi is also called as the subtler form of samadhi, which is subtler than the previous samadhi. Previous samadhi was sa vitarka samadhi. Now we have sa vichara samadhi, which is even subtler than the previous samadhi. Here, where are we contemplating? We are contemplating on the 5 tanmatras and ahankara. Okay, so this is 1. These are 5. So 1 plus 5, 1 plus 5, which is equal to 6. What are these 6 things? These 6 aspects are called as a vishesha. These 16 were called visheshas. Now these 6 aspects that we have seen are called a vishesha. Okay, what are those 6 aspects? 1 is ahankara, and the 5 are the 5 tanmatras. Tanmatras are subtle, right? Can we see the ahankara? We can't see the ahankara, right? Can we see the tanmatras? Can we see the sound? Can we visualize that? No, we can only sense it. Okay, the 5 tanmatras are the subtler elements. Along with ahankara, the 5 tanmatras form the 6 avisheshas. When one gets mastery over these 6 avisheshas, then that leads to sa vichara samadhi. Getting it? Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you might think that when one goes to the sa vichara samadhi, are the 16 visheshas also mastered? Yes, the previous samadhi is completely mastered. He has a control on the 16 visheshas. And now in sa vichara samadhi, he has a control on the 6 avisheshas also. Getting it? So now the next higher samadhi was, what was the next samadhi? Sa ananda samadhi. Okay, vitarka, vichara, ananda. The third kind of samadhi is ananda. The samadhi that is accompanied by ananda. That kind of samadhi is called as sa-ananda samadhi. I'll repeat it once again. The samadhi which is accompanied by ananda is called as sa-ananda samadhi. Okay. Now, in Sa-Ananda Samadhi, the aspect of contemplation would be on even subtler aspects. So, the yogi contemplates on ahankara and also feels the bliss that ahankara is giving. Okay. Here, he tries to enjoy the bliss of ahankara. Okay, he is in a state where he is enjoying the bliss of ahankara. Here, the yogi might feel that he is in a complete state of bliss, which is attained when he is very close to the God Tattva. But he mistakes it. This is that kind of bliss. This is the bliss that he attains when he conquers ahankara. Okay, when he is having a complete control on ahankara. That is when he is in the state of Sa-Ananda Samadhi. Okay, it is not the ultimate Samadhi. We are still seeing the stages of Samadhi. First, we have seen the Sa-Vitarka Samadhi. Next, we have seen the Sa-Vichara Samadhi. Now, we are looking at the Sa-Ananda Samadhi. Sa-Ananda Samadhi, here the yogi gets a complete control on the Ahankara aspect, and he finds it to be a very blissful state being in this samadhi. Okay, when he gains a complete control on ahankara, he enjoys a blissful state. That blissful state is accrued or in Sa-Ananda Samadhi. Okay, then until this point he has come. So this part is called as Sa-Ananda Samadhi. So here you remember he has completely conquered ahankara. He has conquered ahankara and he is enjoying being in that blissful state. Okay, he's enjoying being in that blissful state after he has conquered ahankara. That is called as Sa-Ananda Samadhi. Now, after the Sa-Ananda Samadhi, the next state is he's going into a higher Samadhi, which is called as Asmita, Sa-Asmita Samadhi. Okay, Sa-Asmita Samadhi is nothing but he is now in a state where he is ready to get to the state of buddhi. Buddhi is what? Buddhi is a very close associate of the Purusha, which has a complete reflection of the Purusha, which is the only evolute which has a complete reflection of the Purusha, buddhi. So buddhi is the only evolute which is completely sattvic in nature and it has a complete reflection of the Purusha. When the yogi is able to contemplate on the buddhi or mahat aspect, when he is able to contemplate on the buddhi or mahat aspect, that state is called as Sa-Asmita Samadhi. Okay, so it is called as Sa-Asmita because here there is still a feeling of I-ness. He has not let go the feeling of I-ness. He still has a feeling that he's in his body and he is the one who is doing this. So that kind of feeling is still there. But the Mahat, as it is a sattvic evolute of Prakriti, the Asmita that gets created out of this evolute is also very sattvic in nature. It does not have the influence of Rajas and Tamas. Okay, so when the yogi is able to contemplate on this particular sattvic buddhi, that state, when he conquers that state and is completely established in that state, it is called as Sa-Asmita Samadhi. Okay, Sa Asmita Samadhi is the fourth stage or the last stage of Sampragnata Samadhi. Okay, Sa Asmita Samadhi is the final stage of Sampragnata Samadhi. Is that clear? We started with the I'll write the name of the Samadhi also, where there are 16 Visheshas. What was the Samadhi called? Sir?
Vitarka.
Vitarka. This is all these four things that we have seen just now. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita are all Sampragnata Samadhis, different kinds of Sampragnata Samadhis. Savitarka Sampragnata Samadhi. Okay, this is Savitarka Samadhi. When he conquers the 16 Visheshas. 16 Visheshas are nothing but the 10 senses, which includes the 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas, and the mind. This makes 10, and the other 5 are the 5 Mahabhutas. 5 Mahabhutas are earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These are the 5 Mahabhutas. When the yogi has completely contemplated and has conquered these 16 elements of the Prakriti, which are at the grossest level, lowest level, this stage is called as Savitarka Sampragnata Samadhi. Anybody wants a repetition, or are you all clear on this? Please speak up, because I do not understand if you don't speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody wants a repetition of this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then we have the Sa Vichara Sampragnata Samadhi. Where is Sa Vichara Sampragnata Samadhi at this stage? Right? When the yogi has conquered the 6 Avisheshas. What are the 6 Avisheshas? One is the Ahankara aspect, and the other 5 are the 5 tamasic, the evolutes of tamasic Ahankara, which are the 5 Tanmatras. What are the 5 Tanmatras? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the 5 Tanmatras. So when one conquers these aspects, so he is contemplating and is able to meditate on these aspects and is able to completely immerse in these aspects, it is called as Sa Vichara. Vichara is nothing but he is kind of expanding his the field of concentration from the grosser elements to the subtler elements. Sa Vichara, he is able to explore and go into the subtler aspects. Sa Vichara Sampragnata Samadhi. Clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the third kind of Sampragnata Samadhi that we have seen is Sa Ananda Samadhi. Sa Ananda Sampragnata Samadhi. Write the word Sampragnata also, so that you remember it clearly. Sa Ananda Sampragnata Samadhi. Sa Ananda Sampragnata Samadhi is when the yogi has completely conquered the Ahankara, understood and conquered the Ahankara. He is enjoying a state of bliss after he attains a complete mastery of the Ahankara. Okay, that state of bliss comes when he is in the Sa Ananda Sampragnata Samadhi. Okay, Sa Ananda Sampragnata Samadhi is the Samadhi that accrues or that comes when the yogi has mastered ahankara, when the yogi has conquered ahankara, that is when the yogi is enjoying the bliss. That state of bliss is called as sa ananda sampragnata samadhi. Is this clear? So from the 6 avisheshas, he went into, what did he go into? He is now going into even subtler aspect of ahankara. After he went into the subtler aspect of ahankara, he conquered the ahankara, he's going into buddhi or mahat, right? This buddhi or mahat is the sattvic evolute of prakriti, which is the first evolute. This buddhi or mahat is also called as, I just remember, it is called as linga matra. Linga matra. Okay, linga matra is the only evolute of prakriti which has a sattvic tendency. Linga matra. Okay, buddhi is the evolute of prakriti which is the only evolute which has sattvic tendency. Okay, so this is the first evolute which has the sattvic tendency. It is also called as linga matra. Okay, from the buddhi or mahat, we see that there is a sense of asmita that comes. That asmita is also sattvic because it has been derived from buddhi. That sattvic asmita then forms ahankara. You see that the way it is transcending to the lower forms. So until this, you see that it is called as linga matra. Okay, linga matra is buddhi. That is the only evolute. Then from the linga matra, from the buddhi or mahat, when one dwells in that particular state, when one is meditating or contemplating on buddhi, which is a pure reflection of the purusha, whatever the purusha reflects, that is in the buddhi. So that is the purest form. That is called as sa asmita sampragnata samadhi. Getting it? Buddhi, you see, is the closest to Purusha. So whatever the Purusha reflects, that is seen in Buddhi. That's why Buddhi is called Sattvic. So Linga Matra is in the order that we have seen the 16 Visheshas, the 6 Avisheshas, and then we see the Linga Matra, which is Buddhi. Okay. So these are the
Yes,
four.
ma'am.
These are the 4 sampragnata samadhis. Okay, when we go into 41st sutra, from 41 to 50, we have the sutras related to sampragnata samadhi. We have all these coming again. We will revise it at that time also. I'll take you through the whole thing again, but probably not all of this, but whatever is relevant to those sutras, I'll be able to explain that aspect. Okay. Until now, are you all clear with what I've explained, or you want me to repeat any of the ones that I just explained? Please answer.
Ma'am, we go reverse now, ma'am. Ahankaras to buddhi to ahankara, and 16 evolutes.
Yes. So you see, when Purusha and Prakriti are there, these are the 2 independent aspects, right? These are 2 independent aspects. Now, when Purusha and Prakriti come together, the evolutes of Prakriti start getting created. What is the first evolute of Prakriti which gets created?
Buddhi.
Buddhi. So buddhi, when buddhi gets created, it doesn't have the influence of anything. It is the straight combination of Purusha and Prakriti. So there is a clear reflection of Purusha in the buddhi, which is called as Lingamatra. Only one aspect is present. Okay. So it is sattvic in nature. The asmita, or the sense of I, which gets created in this buddhi, is also sattvic. So asmita is also seen when we talk about buddhi, because it is still in the confines of prakriti. It is the first aspect which got created from prakriti, so it is still in the grip of prakriti. When there is prakriti, there is influence of some or the other guna. Now, which is the first guna which has an influence? Sattva. Okay. So buddhi has a sattvic influence, and out of the buddhi, there is a sense of I. That I is also very sattvic until this point. So until this point, buddhi is called Lingamatra. From this, you see the other evolutes of Prakriti are, from this, the Ahankara gets created. Ahankara, when Ahankara is created, it gets Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, all three qualities. Okay, Ahankara, when the next evolute gets created from Prakriti, it gets all three gunas. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. It is in the influence of all three gunas. Now, when Ahankara associates with Sattva, it is called Sattvic Ahankara. That Sattvic Ahankara, one second, that Sattvic Ahankara, when Rajas gets combined with Sattvic Ahankara, because as it is, Sattva and Tamas do not have any kind of, I can say, further evolution. Unless Rajas combines with Sattva and Tamas, they will not form anything. When Rajas is going and getting mixed or combined with Sattva or Sattvic Ahankara, only then it is able to create the 10 senses and the mind. If Rajas doesn't combine with Sattvic Ahankara, those 11 aspects wouldn't be created. Similarly, when Rajas associates with Tamasic Ahankara, it is creating the set of Tanmatras, the 5 Tanmatras, and from the 5 Tanmatras, the 5 Mahabhutas are also getting created. Okay, so only because of the action of Rajas is tending towards Sattvic Ahankara. When it tends towards Sattvic Ahankara, the 10 senses and the mind gets created. When Rajas is tending towards Tamasic Ahankara, the 5 Tanmatras get created. From the 5 Tanmatras, the 5 Panch Mahabhutas get created. So these are the evolutes of Prakriti. Now, what do you see at the lowest level of the whole creation? What is at the lowest level of the creation?
Savitarka Samprajnata Samadhi.
Yes, that is what is the ultimate samadhi that one gets when one is able to conquer the 16 Visheshas. So first, when the question was, what are the lowest level of evolutes of Prakriti? What are the lowest evolutes of Prakriti?
Gross body, ma'am.
Gross body, the 16 Visheshas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those 16 Visheshas are nothing but the gross elements of Prakriti. Okay, what are those gross elements? I just explained 10 senses, mind, 5 Mahabhutas. These aspects are nothing but the 16 Visheshas or 16 gross elements of Prakriti. Now, when one has conquered the grossest elements, what do we see in the world? We see things which we are able to cognize, right? Like, for example, we are able to see trees, plants, everything around us, people, animals, objects, and everything, because they have a certain form, right? We are able to cognize, see them, understand about them, because our senses take some information and pass it on to the mind. right? How are these objects formed? They are all formed because of a particular combination of the Mahabhutas. What are these Mahabhutas? Prithvi, Jala, Agni, Vayu and Akasha, right? Only when these 5 Mahabhutas combine in a particular ratio, that is when you see a manifestation. That is when you see the object being formed. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the grossest level. I mean, that which we can easily understand with our sense organs, we can see, relate to them. Okay. So when the yogi is starting his yogic journey of samadhi, the first samadhi that he practices is Savitarka Samadhi. Savitarka Samprajnata Samadhi. When he is able to establish himself completely and get a mastery of Savitarka Samprajnata Samadhi, only then he would like to go into the next samadhi, next higher form of samadhi, which is called as Savichara Samprajnata Samadhi. That is, once he has gained a mastery of the gross aspects, the 16 gross aspects, he tries to go into a higher state of Samprajnata Samadhi, where he's trying to master the 6 avisheshas, 6 subtle elements. The 6 subtle elements are the 5 tanmatras and the ahamkara. These are the subtle aspects. Okay. Then he has gained a complete mastery of the 6 avisheshas also. That is when he is proceeding towards the higher form of Samprajnata Samadhi, which is the Sa-Ananda Samprajnata Samadhi. In Sa-Ananda Samprajnata Samadhi, he has completely mastered Ahankara. He is having a complete control of Ahankara. When he has a complete control of Ahankara, he enjoys that state. That state of bliss is called as Sa-Ananda Samprajnata Samadhi. And after he gets a mastery of this, the next higher form of Samprajnata Samadhi is Sa-Asmita Samprajnata Samadhi. Sa-Asmita Samprajnata Samadhi is where the yogi is able to contemplate on the sattvic aspect of buddhi. Okay, what is buddhi? Buddhi is the first evolute of Prakriti, which has a reflection of Purusha. Now, where is the true nature of Purusha first felt by the yogi? The first reflection of Purusha, the pure consciousness, is felt only in a buddhi. Buddhi is completely sattvic. That buddhi is the first evolute of Prakriti, which only has the influence of Sattva. Through that, there is an Asmita that is felt. Asmita that is felt, which is also Sattvic in nature. So here we say that from that Asmita and Buddhi, you see there is an Ahankara that gets formed. That Ahankara will have the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. This is the order. Now you see the Prakriti has evolved Buddhi, and Buddhi, Ahankara. From Ahankara we have the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. From Sattva, Ahankara we saw that 10 elements and Manas. And from Tamasic Ahankara we saw the 5 Tanmatras and the Pancha Mahabhutas. That is called evolution. Now what is called as involution? Involution is that which we have seen, like we are going back, right? From the Mahabhutas, 10 senses, we are going back to the Tanmatras. From Tanmatras, we are going back to the Ahankara. From Ahankara, we are going back to Buddhi, right? From Buddhi, we are going back to the reflection of Purusha, right? When this state is attained, when the yogi is in this state, when the reflection of the Purusha is completely mastered because of the Buddhi, that state is called as Sa-Asmita Samprajnata Samadhi. This is the 4th stage of Samprajnata Samadhi. After this, if the yogi has mastered Sa-Asmita Samprajnata Samadhi, the next Samadhi that he will go is into Asamprajnata Samadhi, which is he doesn't need any of the alambhanas or the support. He doesn't need any of this. He's beyond the control of all this. When he is beyond the control of the gunas, that is when he is in the state of Asamprajnata Samadhi. So the yogi who is in sampragnata samadhi works until this point. If the yogi has gone beyond the buddhi, that means he's in a state of asampragnata samadhi. He's not under the influence of any of the evolutes of prakriti. Okay? Is that clear? This is a very, very heavy concept. I know that. This is the core concept of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, where we are talking about samadhis. I know that you might not be able to understand everything in one go, but you keep going back to the concept, keep understanding it, reflecting upon that. If you have doubts, we will definitely take it up, and I'll take it up in the next class. But for now, if you have anything, if you would like to ask me anything, please feel free.
Understood, ma'am. Ma'am, you have explained it very beautifully.
Okay. See, if for the others also, because Shujaji knows the concept ahead, because she has already learned it in her master's, probably because of that she's able to get a grasp of it. But for the others, if you're not able to understand it, I would request you, urge to please come forward, ask questions, so that I can try to make it simpler or try to explain it in a different way or a better way. Okay, if you have not understood, we can go back to the concept once again, because this is the core concept of Patanjali Sutras. This is the core concept of Patanjali Sutras. If you understand this, you will understand so many aspects.
Yes, ma'am, we understood, ma'am.
Good. I'm glad. Okay. So should we go to the next, or should we stop it here? Because I think this is quite heavy, right? For you to be able to digest what I've explained today, and also revise the explanation that I've given for the previous sutra. Right, so we'll stop the sutra explanation here. I'll stop it here. We'll do the chanting for a few minutes before we end.
Yes,
What do
ma'am.
you
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, I just
Now,
want to ask one question, but I'll ask in Telugu. Here, మనం బుద్ధి దాకా వస్తాం కదా, like సంప్రజ్ఞాత సమాధి.
yeah.
But beyond buddhi, ఇంకా ఏముంటుంది? Like almost we are reaching that reflection of Purusha. We can understand through సంప్రజ్ఞాత samadhi only. Then ఇంకా beyond ఏముంటుంది? Like it's like
Beyond asampragnata samadhi, where you don't need an alambhana. Alambhana ante any of the support of the evolutes of buddhi. Even buddhi is an evolute which is forming a support for the samadhi, right? For the person who's practicing samadhi, right? Buddhi also forms an alambhana. Alambhana is nothing but the support that it's forming. When the person goes beyond the confines of buddhi also, that is when it becomes asampragnata. It is also called nirbija, without any support. Okay, that is the total absorption, complete absorption, without any influence of anything which are the evolutes of prakriti. So there is a complete loss of that I-ness. There is nothing which is separating the person from the thing which he's contemplating upon. So the object, the person who's contemplating on that object, and the process of contemplation, all these three become the same. Okay, become one. That is called as asampragnata samadhi. Until here, we still, you see, there is buddhi, there is asmita, there are all these evolutes of prakriti coming into picture. It is not without a support. There is a sense of there is a sense of support that is being used by the yogi who's practicing this. But once he masters the Sa Asmita Sampragnata Samadhi, that is where he would need the help of a guru who really knows how to proceed with Asampragnata Samadhi. This is where many of the yogis fall off. Once they attain Asmita Sampragnata Samadhi, they fall off. They think that that is the ultimate. Okay, but that is not. When they get a right guru, when they get a right master, they can train them and guide them into how Asampragnata Samadhi can be attained. So we will see this tomorrow in Bhava Pratyaya Videha Prakriti Layanam. That sutra talks about people who fall off at this stage. What happens to the people who fall off at Sa Ananda and Sa Asmita Sampragnata Samadhi? They fall off in the sense they leave their body. They have to pass away. Okay, and then in the next birth, what happens is they try to remember where they have left, and from there they continue and they reach a person who can guide them to go into the Asampragnata Samadhi state. Okay, that is the next sutra. Bhava Pratyaya Videha Prakriti Layanam. So that sutra talks about that.
Ma'am, beyond the buddhi, asampragnata samadhi.
Yeah, beyond the buddhi. See, because I was always saying, what is Prakriti creating? Prakriti is first creating buddhi, right? Is it
Yes,
creating buddhi or not? So we have reached until buddhi. Now what remains is Prakriti and Purusha. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
So when the person is contemplating somewhere here, he is in direct contact with the pure consciousness. Okay, there is no other support, like there is no buddhi, no ahankara, no sattva, no tamas, no rajas, nothing. Okay, that is what is asampragnata samadhi. There is no alambhana, there is no support. Okay, these things actually are not easy to explain also, because I cannot take live examples. Like probably even if I say, only people who have really experienced those states will be able to answer many questions, but we do not have such people. I do not know of any such people, just that I've read books and understood that there are people like Ramana Maharishi, there are people like Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda, and also Paramahamsa, who is that? Paramananda.
Yogananda.
No, Yogananda. Yogananda. Yeah, Yogananda. So these people are said to have attained the states of Asampragnata Samadhi. Okay, but now what are the actual experiences are very subjective, meaning it kind of depends on the person who is in that state. Okay, it is subjective to the person who is experiencing it. So this is a little tricky, but nevertheless, it's a very, very intriguing and an interesting concept for the yoga practitioners. Yes, so we'll do the chanting. What do you say? I mean, it's already past 10. We'll do a little bit of chanting. Okay, I don't want to end it like that without the chanting. Just give me a second. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Also, ma'am, actually, I think we all are learning our system of education, no? So in that, we don't have anything like, the concept is fully different. Atom, molecule, element, everything we know, but we can't relate it to this concept. So starting, it is very difficult to understand. But once we are used to it, we'll get some idea. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So if you can open the 4 chapters on freedom. I will, until which sutra did we do? 25?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll start with the 26th sutra today. I'll just stop presenting now. The 26th sutra is Purveshamapi Guru Kalena Anavachhedat. 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 Is that clear? Is that clear?
In my text, there is Sa Purvesham.
Yeah, you can also add sir. If you don't add sir, also nothing wrong. Okay. Both with and without is the same. There's not a lot of difference. You can chant with or without, both. Some texts are giving it Sa Purveshamapi Guru Kalena Navachhedat. That is what they're giving. Okay. Please chant. Would you chant one after the other?
Yes, ma'am. We will do alphabetical wise. It will be good for us, ma'am.
Haan, kar lo. Just do it alphabetically. Don't take a lot of time. Just organize and just start chanting one after the other, please.
First, I think Langland. Yes, ma'am.
Haan. Langland, can you chant? I think she's not active. Lipalika, you go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Sapurvesham api guruh kalena anavachhedat.
Yeah. Sakshi.
पूर्वेषामपि कालेन नवच्छेदात्
पूर्वेषामपि गुरुः कालेन अनवच्छेदात्.
Prasanna.
पूर्वेषामपि गुरुः कालेनावच्छेदात्.
Shuja.
Sapurveshamapi Guru Kalena Navachhedat.
Shravani.
पूर्वेषामपि गुरुः कालेन वच्छेदात्.
The next sutra is Tasya Vachakah Pranavaha. Tasya Vachakah Pranavaha. Tasya Vachakah Pranavaha. Lipalika, start.
Tasya vachakah pranavah.
Prasanna.
तस्य वाचकः प्रणवः.
Sakshi. Jaiswal.
तस्य वाचकः प्रणवः
Sakshi Pandey.
तस्य वाचकः प्रणवः.
Shravani.
तस्य वाचकः प्रणवः.
Shuja?
तस्य वाचकः प्रणवः.
Okay. The next sutra is Tad japastartha bhavanam. Tad japastartha bhavanam. Tad japastartha bhavanam.
तदर्थ.
Sorry? Tad
तस्
japastartha bhavanam.
तस् जपस् तद्
तदर्थ.
अर्थभावनं. तत् अर्थ.
Tad japastartha bhavanam, right? Tad japastartha bhavanam.
In the text,
Did I pronounce it?
तत्
In my
जपस्
text, we
तद्
have
अर्थभावनं.
तदर्थ bhavan.
Tad artha bhavanam. Okay. Tad japas tad artha bhavanam.
Yes, it is like that in the text.
Okay. Here there is a single word. Tad japas artha bhavanam. And in the English also it is given in the same way. One second. I see. I'm looking at the Sanskrit verse sutra. Now I'll look at the English one also. Tad japas artha bhavanam. Tad japastartha bhavanam. Right? Did I pronounce it right now?
तत् जपस् तद् अर्थभावनं.
Tad japastartha bhavanam. Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. Tadartha, right? Tadartha.
तदर्थभावनं.
Japas tadartha bhavanam. See, for people who have not chanted this, tad japas tadartha. Tad artha. You have to add tad artha bhavanam. Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. Repeat it. Lipalika.
तज्जपस्तदर्थभावनम्.
Prasanna.
तज्जपस्तदर्थभावनम्.
Sakshi. Pandey.
tat japas
हाँ बोलो बोलो.
tat japas tadarth bhavanam.
Yeah. Now Sakshi Pandey.
तज्जपस्तदर्थभावनम्.
Shravani.
तज्जपस् तदर्थ bhavanam.
Shija.
तत् जपस् तदर्थभावनं.
Yeah. So these are all the sutras related to the nature, qualities of God, the name of God, the japa that one has to do until 28th. Then the last sutra related to Ishvara is 29th sutra, which is Tatah Pratyak Chetana. Tatah Pratyak Chetana Adhigamo Apyantaraya Bhavascha. Tatah Pratyak Chetanadhigamo Pyantaraya 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 Bhavascha. Repeat it. Lipalika.
ततः प्रत्यक्चेतना अधिगमो अभ्यन्तराय भावश्च.
Yes.
ततः
Prasanna.
ततः प्रत्यक्षेतनादिगमोऽप्यन्तराय भावश्च.
Sakshi Pandey.
ततः प्रत्यक्. Ma'am, can you just repeat it once again?
Yeah. Tatah Pratyak Chetana.
ततः प्रत्यक्चेतनाधिगमो अभ्यन्तराय भावश्च.
Yes. Repeat it once again.
ततः प्रत्यक् चेतनाधिगमो अभ्यन्तराय भावश्च.
Good. Sakshi Jaiswal.
ततः प्रत्यक् चेतना अधिगमो पयंतराय भावश्च.
Repeat it one more time.
ततः प्रत्यक् चेतना अधिगमो पयंतराय भावश्च.
Good. Shravani.
ततः प्रत्यक्षेतनाधिगमोऽप्यन्तरायाभावश्च.
Good. Shuja.
ततः प्रत्यक्षेतनाधिगमोऽप्यन्तराय भावश्च.
Good. The 30th sutra is a little longer. Should we do it now? Are you all ready for that? Or should we stop it here?
Stop here.
My daughter's saying stop here.
Guys, time to go to sleep.
Okay. If you are all okay, I'm okay to do it because this is a little longer. For the one who's hearing it the first time, you might feel tomorrow we'll do it.
Ma'am, I think
Okay.
we'll do it tomorrow.
ठीक है, ठीक है.
Yes, Lay.
Okay. Any doubts in today's class? The chanting also, is that clear? Until the 29th sutra at least? Okay, okay. So we'll do the ending prayer and then we'll wind up. Okay. Please sit straight with your head, neck and back erect. Adopt Namaskara Mudra and gently close your eyes. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Shubh Ratri.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Why is your class so weird, Ma?